If you've ever jinxed a team's Super Bowl chances the night or the night of their Monday Night Football game, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Any Tampa Bay fans out there, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saying your team was a Super Bowl contender last night before the game where they lost their two All-Pro receivers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Let's make some money, though.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday and welcome back, everybody. I hope that you had a great Monday night. I know those Ravens fans did. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Crimp Biscuit doing it all for the Nookie as normal. Love to see it. Lion, welcome back. Beach Bum, you're awesome. Thanks for all your support. James, it's great to see you. Folks, we're blessed with James here in the chat. I know sometimes we get asked a lot about, hey, how much is Pro? Can I use Benzinga Pro? James is the one to talk to. James is out here slanging deals. I often ask him, hey, what's the best deal we can have for a customer? He is on top of that. So if he's here and you have questions, be sure to get at him. James, I share your information on a daily basis, FYI. Austin, good morning. Jay Wild, good morning. Hustle and Bustle, absolutely love that handle. Good morning. Jay Harris, Jay Grant, Tom, Sydney, Carmen, Edward, and everyone else, all of the regulars. You absolutely love to see it. Let's not waste any more time and bring on 13. 13, how are you doing here on this fine Tuesday morning?
I'm doing just fine as long as you keep my team's name out your damn mouth. I don't want any more of these Super Bowl prospects being ruined because you jinxed them the night before they play or the night that they play.
You're in luck. You're in luck, 13, because your team is the Packers, and unfortunately, for the past 15 or 20 years, the Bears have been pretty much manhandled by the Packers. So I generally try not to run my mouth, as they say, and make it worse for my team. So we'll see what happens when things change here. But I think you're safe for right now, at least.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the market here. We'll talk about all of the stuff that's going on here today, and then we'll also take a look at the things that are moving. First thing to look at here is going to be the SPY. Yesterday, not, kind of a low volume day. I'm actually kind of thinking that we might see this type of action right into the election. To me, it sure seems like there's uncertainty at the moment, and the market doesn't like uncertainty. It prefers certainty. So I suspect that we might see kind of a low volume trade into the market. But that doesn't mean that we can't find day trade opportunities for our group. Now, yesterday we were weak in the pre-market. We got bought up right out of the open, and then we sold off to the low, and the dippers came back. The dippers came back and brought us almost back to even. Now, today, I wonder if we're going to get a repeat of that. We're weak here in the pre-market. We did have some earnings this morning. GM actually popped, and then gave it all back. So it's been some interesting movement here on some of the earnings here today, and we'll see how that actually affects the broader market. Looking at the SPY here, you can see exactly where we're at. We're above that 20-day moving average. 13 talks about that all the time. We're about 5 points above that right now. We are below the trend line. So let's see if the dippers end up saving us, or if we do actually have a pullback here today. That's going to be the SPY. The other thing that's worth mentioning here before I ask 13 about what he thinks about the market, it's going to be the IWM, right? IWM really kind of leading the way down. We'll see where this settles here today, but 221 here in the pre-market today on IWM. So 13, what do you think? You got any levels or anything you're looking for on the SPY, Qs, IWM, or otherwise?
Yeah, so yesterday we were talking about how we could just, consolidate, go sideways for a time, bounce around this range that I was talking about being between these two previous all-time highs of 580.33 and 585.27. Kind of got that yesterday. Until we, break those levels and start getting a direction, I think that's where we're going to be. It's just kind of in between that range. Maybe, some of these Max 7s reporting next week. We'll do it, or we have existing home sales tomorrow there's a lot of data coming out, and I'm not exactly sure what's going to do it, but there might be something in there that gives us a breakout or breakdown. So not quite sure what's going to do it, but it feels like we're getting close to direction being chosen. As far as IWM goes, I think we would want to see, if we're going to get a resolution of this symmetrical triangle that we had, we would need to reverse and push away from this trend line that we've established here from as part of the upper part of the triangle. So we tested that yesterday, a little lower in the pre-market. Going to need to see us open and recapture that trend line and start to move away from it towards 225. Don't know what the catalyst is going to be to do that, but that's going to be how this triangle needs to resolve. Otherwise, it's a broken pattern.
Okay. Really good stuff there, Jay, highlighting some bad some bad reactions to earnings. SHW, GPC, MedP, Pi, GE, NUE. We actually looked at that last night as well. So we'll see if their earnings are one of the catalysts that brings us down today, or if buy the dippers step in again. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the movers here today, get you set up for things that are moving. And then we'll go back and take a look at any of the stocks that you folks want to take a look at. First one on the list here is going to be probably one of the bigger trades from yesterday, or the bigger names here from bigger trade names from yesterday. This is GNPX. This is Genprex. We moved from penny territory to dollar territory, and now we're up here at about 355. Huge move in very, very short order. 13, I know that you were saying yesterday that this is a stock that really doesn't have a substantial cash position, so it's got an awful risk. There's no new news here today, so no new catalyst. This looks to be continued momentum from yesterday, perhaps relative volume. What do you make of GMPX here today?
Yeah, so like you said, relative volume, no news. Just getting more of that same movement. Just a reminder, they have 2.56 million shares. They did a 1-for-40 reverse split on February 2nd. But yes, this company really does need cash. When we look at the financials, we can see that their cash position is under 2.5 million. And they burn through in their income statement, they are burning through 6.5 every quarter as of the last report. So they need to increase their cash position. Don't know exactly how they're going to do that. I haven't looked to see if they have any prospects filed to where they're going to do a cash raise. But I'd be concerned about any halts that we see today with this, because one of those halts could end up being where they make that offering. Just we've seen that happen before in a lot of these junkier names that need to raise money. So be careful with this one today. I would say it's got to get that cash position increased somehow.
Okay. Really good stuff there. GMPX. Next here is going to be HYZN. This is Hyzon Motors. Now, this actually does have a new news catalyst here. And this actually is something that we've talked recently about in Happy Hour. I've actually had some other discussions regarding this, but this is Hyzon Motors, the catalyst here. Hyzon shares are trading higher after the company announced a purchase agreement for 12 hydrogen-powered refuse fuel truck electric vehicles with green waste. So actually, the first time I read that, I was like, they refused these trucks, but no, they're refuse trucks. So 12 hydrogen power vehicles. That's what's going on here, which HYZN. The stock was $2 yesterday. It was a double up earlier here as it traded above 4, currently up about 66%. 4.29 million shares in the float. So this really kind of fits our bread and butter zone, if you will, in terms of some of these stocks that really produce nice intraday moves. Short interest, not crazy, but still notable here at 6.18% of the float shorted. Days to cover here, 1.21. So definitely a little bit of a short interest here. When we take a look at the financials on the balance sheet, this actually does have some cash, but it burns cash every quarter. So the runway here is 1, maybe 2 quarters if things go well. But 13, what do you make here? Ticker HYZN.
You pretty much covered everything. The only thing that I didn't hear you say was that they had a reverse split, a 1-for-50 on September 11th. But they do need cash. That is absolutely true. So I don't know that we'll see that raise today. I don't even know how much they're getting from green waste for their 12 fuel cell cars. But this is and you, like as you pointed out with the short interest, kind of not really there to help give it a push or a lift. I'm sorry. I really don't know what to make of this. I think that their cash position might not be as something to really look at for the moment. I think let's just trade this and see what we get. I'm sorry I sounded a little distracted, and I guess I would kind of blame that on Webcoin because he mentioned that Peloton is moving with news, and I think we should probably take a quick look at that because I think the news is pretty significant.
Okay, let's do Peloton next. It actually is on the movers list, but it's a little bit of ways down. We don't want you distracted by any means, so we'll go ahead and do that next here. Real quickly, Crimpus. Go ahead.
It's only because they are partnering with Costco.
Okay, let's do that here in a sec. Crimp Biscuit's asking, how big is green waste? Crimp Biscuit, not a bad question here at all. This looks like a California-based waste management company. It's not one that I'm familiar with. I do not believe that it's public here. I just posted the About Us section of their website. I hadn't looked through this yet, so maybe you can find something in there. I don't think it's very big, and it is, California-based. So I don't know if that answers your question, but a good one. That would be something to look for. All right, let's talk about Peloton here. So here's your chart. Peloton shares trading higher after the company announced a partnership with Costco to sell its Bike Plus in stores and online from November 1st to February 15th. Peloton rocketing all the way to its open price yesterday. I didn't really do a whole lot here. I will say though, so the Costco move here. What you guys are you thinking that this is going to result in more revenue, more sales, more units? I mean, I think the big thing here with Peloton, if they're going to sell the actual bikes at Costco, the margins on that are probably going to be extremely low, as that's how Costco operates. Right. But I think the idea here is that you get them into the subscription ecosystem where you get that recurring revenue from the consumer that has a very high margin. So I think that this is using the bikes, using a low margin product through Costco to get people into the high margin recurring revenue subscription model. That would be my guess here on Peloton. What say you?
For me, this is, I think, a pretty smart decision, and here's why. When it comes to selling products to that are expensive like this to consumers, it really does help more than you may realize when the actual product is in front of the customer versus when they're just browsing online. Now,
no question.
Where are all the consumers going for their shopping these days? They're going to Costco, they're going to Walmart, they're going to all the places we've talked about recently on A Weakening Consumer. What places are still going to do business? Walmart, Costco. You put this bike on display in Costco, you are going to get a lot of eyes on it. I think that's a great decision. This could really help Peloton after they've been hammered for a long time. So I think this is a smart decision. We'll have to see what they get out of this, but I think this is really, really smart, and I think it could end up being a good decision for them that helps lift their revenue.
Okay, now I do want to comment on the bike actually being in front of people. I agree with you 100% there. When people can look at the product, especially when it's something like this, that is going to help. And one of the things about Peloton, it actually is a nice looking bike. My buddy in Arkansas, whom I visit often, has one. And the screen is very beautiful. The bike is very aesthetic. It's not this huge, bulky thing. Like if you're accustomed to going to the gym, it's much smaller footprint than the bikes there, sleek looking. So I think that you're right. And I'm wondering then if the Costco price is going to be enough to get people in the door. Also from this PR here, online from November 1st to February 15th. I mean, let's face it. They are doing this at a time where exercise equipment gets sold most. Seasonally, this is the best time for exercise equipment around the Christmas holiday and around New Year's, where everyone's making those resolutions that they're inevitably going to break. But this is definitely one of the or the better time to actually do this. Again, though, the big thing for me is, does this actually lead to more recurring revenue? That's where the dollars are going to be, and that's what's really going to determine if the stock's going to make any type of significant move, something other than a day trade, Scott.
I also think that with this, I mean, you might be right. Their bike sales might not see a huge increase, but I think their subscriptions are going to increase, because they might have people in the foot traffic, just walk through and take a look at the bike, and then maybe approach, if you're looking for this, it's this and this. And if you're not, you could also get on the subscription program, and you could use whatever equipment you have and just keep paying Peloton that way for their service. There's avenues that they have. I think this is just a great decision, and we're gonna have to wait and see what the results come of it. But I think this is positive for the company.
A Replay Game Lab saying more healthy people, more healthy food by cost, not Peloton. Definitely understand that. Amanda here saying, I love my Peloton. And this is the other thing. So I know that the stock has been really poor and it's been a very, very difficult trade in the whole 9 yards. And I'm with you on all of that. But Amanda's comment here is exactly what I hear from people that actually own and use the bike itself. Like my friend in Arkansas says the same thing. He really, really likes it as well. So we'll see. But that's what's going on here with Peloton. Good shout there, 13, because I actually did not have that on my list. We'll see if Peloton gives us a trade here today.
Replay Game Lab. Why do all that work exercising when we have semaglutide? Semaglutides actually waste away muscle as well. So
I was just going to say, go ahead.
No, yeah, you're not losing fat. You're also losing, central parts of your body, losing muscle. So it's worth it to exercise. It's kind of a hand-in-hand kind of thing when it comes to semaglutides and exercise. You should be using both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a contingent of people that are going to use semaglutide and trabecicide to try and lose the vanity pounds. But what you just said there is key. These compounds can't distinguish between fat and muscle, so you end up losing both, and it's going to be paramount that you continue a workout regimen alongside using those semaglutides. So Replay Game Lab, there's probably a little bit of a joke in that comment as well, and you wouldn't be wrong, because it sure seems like everyone just wants to inject themselves and have the weight fall off without doing any work. The reality is to actually be healthy, you're going to have to do some work. Also, Comp saying it's a good bike. I've heard that from the people that use it too, that it's actually a quality piece of equipment that is going to last. So that's something else there. Okay, we'll see on Peloton. Next one here is going to be SRM Entertainment. This popped in the after hours, popped again here in the pre-market, although it's given back all of the morning gains, has a really weak looking pre-market chart. It did have some volume, so it might appear on some relative volume scanners, but let's wait for this to really kind of bottom and turn around. I don't see any fresh news. Last piece of news I hear was from Saturday, or I see here is from Saturday. To me, this just kind of feels like a momentum move. 13, did you have anything on this one that I might have missed?
I didn't cover this one. I don't know what's going on with it. So I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Right now, all you need to know for trading purposes here, we do have some distance between where we're at and the VWAP. So if it holds here and starts to move on volume, maybe there is a trade back up to the VWAP. I'd be very wary about waiting for it to cross the VWAP. It has not shown that it's going to do that here today. As far as a downside, I'd really be looking at a dollar level here. If it breaks that dollar, it's probably coming back all the way down to where it closed yesterday, right around that 70 cents level. Smoke Tuna, I know you've been just kind of aces with these recently. You let me know what you think here, but to me, it sure seems like this is going to be weak, probably not on deck. Next year is going to be TCBP. And if you recall, this is one that we've traded a while ago when it was a penny stock. It's had a recent reverse split, fairly recent. Let me see if I can get you the date on that. That was going to be August 5th. Did a 1-for-10 reverse split, and it's kind of been holding in here. Now, yesterday, it really sold off, and it sold off on volume. We have a catalyst here today that's popping it back. So BioPharm shares are trading higher after the company announced it had entered into a research planning collaboration with Dr. Carlos Maluquer de Motes. I probably butchered that poor man's name, but I apologize, for the development of a treatment for monkeypox. So we're getting a monkeypox headline here on TCBP. That popped it. The volume looks pretty good. Stock is trading back up. What do you make of this one?
So Dr. Carlos, that I'll just call him.
There you go. I like that.
Is a reader and principal investigator at the University of Surrey, United Kingdom, and he works closely with the Purebright Institute that researches viral diseases that spread from animals to humans. So that's why his name is prominent in this headline. Company has less than 500,000 shares in the float. I have a reading of 494.5. Like you said, they did a 1-for-10 reverse split on August 5th. Company still needs cash though. So as good as the news is, they need to have the funds in order to keep moving forward. And right now, it doesn't look like they have a whole lot. They have less than $1 million in the bank. They're losing about $3 million or more a quarter. So gonna need to raise some cash at some point with this one as well. But that's who Dr. Carlos is.
Okay. This one fairly similar here. As long as this can hold 3, maybe you have a trade here, but it really needs to put in that support. Smoke Tuna said SRM needs 1 support or else it goes lower. Honestly, Smoke Tuna, that's what I felt about SRM. Sure feels like the same deal here in TCBP. So we'll see on that one. Okay, next is going to be SGMO. And as you can see, this is currently ripping here. This is actually on the second leg up. It's pulled back to VWAP and held it. Really, really nice looking volume here on SGMO. We did have a catalyst here this morning. Sangamo Therapeutics announces alignment with FDA on accelerated approval pathway for ST920 in Fabry disease. BLA submission expected in 2025. So gotten a PR there with one of its treatments here. 200 million in the float. Look out, 200 million in the float. And we're about a third of the way through its average volume. So 13, you got anything on this one?
Didn't cover that, but just the float alone makes me a little bit nervous about how much we're going to get out of this. That's a lot of supply to move. So like we say all the time, when it comes to these large float stocks, might see some pops intermittently throughout the day, but you are going to see a lot more leaking when the volume isn't there. So it could have just end up being some wicks here and there, maybe a short run, but ultimately I think this is going to end up leaking throughout the day.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff there on SGMO. I would say if you're looking to trade this, if you disagree with 13 and you're looking to trade this, at least wait to see what the opening print is. Let's see if this shakes some people out and gets to a support level. But I'm with you on that one, 13. All right, next here is going to be Hyho. I always laugh every time that this is not the first time we've talked about this ticker. I always laugh every time I say it. Every time we talk about it. No news here. Stock popped as high as 340, came back in right below VWAP. It's holding here. I don't know about this one in terms of its staying power here. 3 million in the float though. On average, it trades 8,000 shares today. For whatever reason, we're trading 1.5 million. What do you make here on Hyho?
Yeah, like you said, no recent news. They had an earnings report. Let's see, it was like a week or two ago. 3 million shares in the float. The short interest is negligible, and there are no reverse splits of note. So the only thing that's really interesting here about this one is that they do seem to have a pretty good balance sheet, and their income statement isn't bad. They have some revenue, and they're not operating at a loss for the past 2 quarters. They have made some money. So it's encouraging, and maybe this ends up being something better in the future, but I don't know how much movement we're going to get out of this. It doesn't seem too exciting, but the float's small enough for it to get a lot of volatility. So we'll have to wait and see what happens after the open. Okay, and of course, Market Sniper finishing off the reason why I chuckle every time I say hi ho, because it's off to work we go, and indeed that's what's going on here. So okay, and of course, Movers just lost its results right before I was going to go to the next one. That's just perfect. Way to go. All right, go ahead and just give us some musical notes whenever Hyho start tripping. We'll know to look at it.
Yeah, real quickly here, I do want to address some of the other ones here. Carlos asking about ANTF. I didn't see anything fresh on this. ATNF, did I mix that up? This is 180 Life Sciences. The reason I'm covering this, there's nothing going on here. This thing's a ghost town, Carlos. But what I will say is we've traded this one before off the scanner. It was last week. It looks like we had a huge pop here, and that was very, very disappointing action. As you can see, it came all the way back in, had one bounce pop. Maybe that would have been pretty decent. But once it broke below the VWAP, it really struggled to get above that. And now it's come all the way back down and kind of flagged here. We'll see if we get another one of these pops. Honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of watching this consolidation area. Let's call it 6 to 4. Anything in that area, maybe you find a channel that you can trade here. I don't know, but 6 looks to be an upside level. If it breaks that, maybe it gets interesting. If it breaks down from 4, this is probably going sub 2, probably putting this at 150 handle. We'll see here. That's what I see on ATNF. You got anything on this one? I know this is just one from the chat here while we were waiting for Movers to get it together.
No, I think you're pretty right on there. That consolidation between from March of this year back to December of last year, I like that consolidation that you're talking about there. It's like a range of $3 to about $4.25, maybe a little bit more, $4.50. That seems to be like where you might get some support. So let's see what happens when we get into that range. But if we lose 3, then I'd be really concerned about there being more continued downside. This isn't one that you really want to hold on to anyway. This is more of just one of these junky names that move with momentum and volume. So I don't know what the trade plan is with this one, but for me, I would want to see that support at the very least at 3. Otherwise, I'd be very, very concerned about this going lower.
Okay. Good stuff there. Next on the list here is going to be Sober. That's SOBR. It's going to be Sierra, Oscar, Bravo, Romeo here. This is Sober Safe, and Sober Safe shares are trading higher after the company had launched alcohol detection software, Sober Check, and Sober Sure for real-time monitoring. You can see this actually spiked to 15. We've retraced 5 points of that move here, wild action here in the pre-market. So far, it's hanging on to 10. We actually have a pretty good range carved out up to VWAP. So this is one at least worth watching, because if we get some upside action, we're able to hold this 10 handle, you probably are going to have a fairly decent trade here for a scalp. So let's just take a look at it. 2.3 million shares in the float. We're not quite at 1 million shares here this morning, but we are twice the 10-day average before the market even opens. What do you think here on Sober 13?
Well, I've heard a lot about this company, and they've been, trading for a while. I'm kind of curious when they're going to actually start making money off these great things that they're coming out with. I mean, I like that news. Alcohol detection software.
Mm-hmm.
That's that, and for real time, that's great. That'll keep a lot of unsafe people off the road. Problem is, when I look at their balance sheet, or I'm sorry, their income statement, I don't see where any of this is getting reflected in their revenue. They make what, $5,400 or $50,000. Where's the money? That's just where I'm at with this. Like I feel like this has been on the market or we've been hearing about these things for so long now. They should have some revenue at some point, and it doesn't look like it's there yet.
Yeah, really, really low revenue. That's a really good point. We'll see if we get a trade here. I would agree. This more of a short-term trade. Anthony here says, "Hey, Sober greater than drug." You know what? Maybe that will be the case here, especially with drug already ran. And then another good question here. Replay Game Lab, is Sober working on a marijuana detection system? That'll be a big deal for cops. That's a good point too. Okay, we're open here. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace. Let's get it rolling. What's up?
No problem. I was just wasn't paying attention to the time. And I think, Amanda, you're right. They do need government contracts, like probably local municipalities looking for those things. Anyway, Hyzon, HYZN, down out of the open. GNPX, popping out of the open. Let's see if that's sustained. Might run into some resistance here around 370. We have a 379 pre-market high for GNPX. And
I've got 352 as the VWAP there. Excuse me, 332. So it's right here to VWAP. Right here to VWAP. We'll see if they can hold here and maybe go higher on GNPX. There you go. There's a move, and we're out. Nice. 1 for 1 already. Quick trade off the open on GNPX. Oh, man, I didn't even adjust my chart. Okay, now that I've actually got some green on the screen here, I'm going to be maybe even a little bit more aggressive. Let's see if we take out this level here, 360. You can see it actually stopped there the first time. There we go. Second time, a little bit stronger on its way through. Bang.
Nice. Peloton also giving a trade as well.
Let's take a look at that.
Hot out of the gate, went all the way up to looks like 590 and came back in.
Okay, so here you go on Peloton.
See what else we can get out of Peloton. HYZN trying to turn around, not doing it yet. Hi-Ho, this needs to get back above VWAP, but the MACD is just kind of telling me it's not time yet. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Hi-Ho. TCBP, we've traded this before, so I already have levels set up here. Looks like the next one to the downside is going to be 290 for support. That's if we lose 3.
Okay, yeah, TCBP rolling over here. Amanda asking about the short interest here on Peloton. 20% of its float shorted. 5.6 days to cover. Definitely a squeeze candidate if things get rolling.
Yeah, so squeeze the open. Now it's starting to lose that. If we look at the pre-market and after hours, we have a demand zone between 550 and let's call it 535. So we'll see if we can get continued support and turn around with Peloton. High O still not breaking over VWAP yet. TCBP coming down to 3. Actually, it lost 3. Coming close. It came close to that 290 level. It's coming back up above 3 now, but let's see if we get this to close above 3.
ATNF did pop out of the gate here, kind of stopped at 515. There was a seller there. And it's a little bit spread now, spread about 10 cents here. We'll see if ATNF picks up. So far, I don't really see a decent entry there. ENSC, this is another one that we've traded before. This wasn't in the rundown here as it's a penny stock, but this looks like this is ramping again, pulled back to 50 cents and has continued to go. I'm seeing a number of people mentioning Bivy. That was one from yesterday. Let's check that out here. Oh, indeed. Great call, guys and gals. So we're right. This is a pre-market breakout level right here, 330. Let me bring this up in the broker and see if I can take a look at the level 2. There's a bid right where we're at.
350 on BIVI has a big wall to get through. I have 375 as the next upside target, and then 415 after that.
Okay, they're taking some of that stock that was that they were bidding there at 325.
Looks like GNPX trying to go. So it hasn't broke the pre-market high of 379, but it has been trying to push up to that level all since all open. Getting weak again.
Amanda's saying I bought myself an ultra wide monitor. It's a game changer for trading technicals. Indeed. Also, Amanda, it's
TCBP.
Excellent for space-based games as well as first-person shooters if you're into that.
TCBP was just popping there a moment ago. And Amanda, would that happen to be the Samsung 57-inch, perhaps?
That is oddly specific that you know what she got.
I'm asking if she got it.
Okay. I'm curious. Now I'm curious in the answer. You've got my curiosity piqued, as they say. Bivy here holding around that 315 area. We'll see if it blasts off from here. It's done a good job holding 3 so far to the downside. Volume not looking great. Excuse me. Volume not looking great. We'll see if that picks up here on Bivy.
It was. Well, so Amanda, it's because it's the number 1 ultra wide out there right now. I think it's the largest one that's available. There's no higher quality brand for a 57-inch ultra wide than Samsung. So it's a very small thing.
That's cover for you installing some type of security camera in someone else's house is what I think that's all about. You Packer fans,
you got it.
Who knows what you guys are doing? There's some Packer mind meld going on. I don't know. Just kidding.
Yeah, but go ahead and look. I mean, I was doing a lot of research on ultra wide monitors, so I kind of know what's out there, and I have had my eyes on that particular one for a while. GNPX popping up.
Here we go.
About to get tried to get a break over
and pull. You know what, 13? Maybe there are people that are just kind of worried about that offering, and there's just some weak hands. This is kind of what you discussed earlier. I've got some green on the screen on this, so I might try it here. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I was too late. 4 coming here. GNPX.
Nice.
Pulled off that spot. I'm not in it. I was too slow to get it pulled up here.
But we broke that pre-market high. HYZN down to a potential support level. Let's see if we get a reversal here. And TCBP was getting shouted by Print Biscuit. That thing rocketed all the way up to looks like 380 something, 388. Yeah. We could continue to see more upside in TCBP. I have the next level at 415. So if we continue to get this continuation, could see it top out there. Now, I don't have much beyond 415. That's kind of where we topped out in the pre-market. The pre-market high was 470, but that was shortly after we opened the pre-market. So that's where I would be looking at next is 415 if we get this continuation to the upside.
Okay, we'll see here on GNPX. There's definitely some size here at 368. Looks like they're actually refilling it, but it keeps getting hit. So I'm wondering if they take that, if maybe it pops and goes higher here. GMPX. We'll see. Maybe it comes back in and holds 350. This thing's kind of all over the place. GMPX volume still looking pretty good.
So this is kind of off topic, but Tom V, what I think about a particular monitor isn't going to make a difference because it's what the monitor is going to do for you. There are, different types, like OLED and LCD, and some are going to be more susceptible to burn-in than others. So kind of taking into consideration what you're going to be using that monitor for, and that will help narrow down the selection for you. But I think Dell's is a pretty good brand of monitor, but I prefer Samsung, Asus, BenQ. Those are the brands I prefer.
Yeah, I've had really good, just as kind of an aside here, I've had really good luck with Samsung monitors throughout the course of my life. I've had LG, Acer, Samsung, Dell, BenQ monitors. Samsung, some of my favorite. Great price point, great quality for the price point too. So
I hope.
It's off to work we go?
It's off to work we go. It broke VWAP. Let's see if we can close this candle above it. We have a pre-market high of 339. We are currently at 275. Right. So let's see.
Let me put it. Yeah. Let me put it up. GMPX does look like it's getting ready to go here. So we got a couple that are setting up, it looks like. There is Hi-Ho. Let's see if Hi-Ho can make a run for 3. We might have. I'll tell you what. If I'm going to be singing this stupid little tune all day now because of this song, I already can see the future. I'm not happy about it, but we got to make some money so that I don't get too pissed here. Here we go. Hi-Ho looks like it's trying to go higher.
Oh man, some of these tickers, I tell you.
I mean, look, hey, we got to keep it interesting around here, right? Got to keep it interesting around here. Hi-Ho looks like it's backing off that high spot, 288. There is size there. We'll see if it takes it.
And coming back down.
SGMO takeoff. Let me pull that up. You know what? I haven't actually been looking at that. I apologize.
TCBP halted to the downside.
Coming back in. Let's take a look at TCBP. Indeed. Look at that VWAP bang rejection.
And Hi-Ho coming in too. What is everything this polling now? Not GNPX. That thing is still up here.
I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. In fact, I actually I'm looking in my GIF meme folder that I have on my computer here, and I've got that. I've got the George eating popcorn doing. I've got it. George, I don't know GIF. Here it is.
GNPX.
Go. Okay, I'm done. I'm done goofing around.
GNPX looks like it's trying to push into 4. Not there yet, but if we could continue with this volume, we could. Starting to lighten up though, so be careful.
Hi-Ho, big pull off that area that it stopped at. Big pull there. SGMO still kind of building here. HYZN, that Hyzon Motors, doing nothing but leaking here. GMPX might be the best one so far. Will's asking about Howl, HOWL. Let's take a look at that. I didn't have that one. This interesting, right at the intraday afternoon high, there was a morning spike out of the open. This is going to be your next level here, 328. So far, though, looks like it's flirting with that 306 level from yesterday.
All right. Like to hear my thoughts on TSM if possible.
Here, you know what? Let's do that. Let's chart TSM. We've talked a lot about that on both Happy Hour and in here 13. So let me go ahead and throw that up on the big chart here. We've entered into a potential gap fill on the way down. I'm guessing that's what Dan's asking about, but what say you?
Yeah, I could see where we fill that gap to the downside to, let's see, it's about what, 194 and change and 194.28. But once we fill that gap, I could also, actually, you know what? I'm sorry, that's not correct. The gap actually fills down at around 190. So I would think that after we fill the gap, we turn around and move back up. But with how extended the semis are, I'm a little bit cautious on saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's do this. Let's see what we get initially once we get down to filling that gap, because I think that's going to end up happening. Now, if we don't fill that gap and we just get this floating island, well then, Brian, I think you know what comes next. We're going to likely end up going higher.
Yeah, indeed.
So those are the two things I'd be looking for. See if we fill that gap, and if not, then we have a floating island, and it's that's bullish.
TCB is still halted here. Amanda saying if Nvidia is going to keep flopping around like this, I might just day trade it. LOL. Now you've reminded me of another song, this one by the Talking Heads called Making Flippy Floppy. I highly suggest you listen to that if you haven't heard that. But this is awesome. I've got a bunch of different musical tunes stuck in my head. We're not even a half hour into the session here today. So giddy up. Giddy up. SGMO still flirting with those highs. We'll see if that goes higher. HYZN. Ryan Milligan saying, great song. Look, anyone out there that is a Talking Heads fan, you are a friend of mine. You are a friend of mine. Stop Making Sense was awesome. And good stuff, Ryan. Great name, too. I should have known how awesome you were from the beginning. Just
no problem, Dan. And, just keep in mind that they have a very big geopolitical headwind with China. So, at any time that could pull the stock down if anything develops with that. But until then, I think TCM is in a great position to do well on the semiconductor side.
One more thing here. We didn't cover this during the rundown, but ticker JBDI. This actually fits our theme that we've recently been trading some of these smaller names. This is JBDI Holdings regains its compliance with NASDAQ. All of that news was fresh yesterday in the after hours. Stock's up 10% here. Really hasn't gone yet, but maybe add this to your watch list if you've been successful trading some of those delinquency and compliance names recently.
Motion, it is after the bell tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Tom Tom Club. What was her name? I can't remember her name. Oh my God,
hey,
this
Mike.
is gonna bother me.
No.
Tina Weymouth. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, do you guys have a Discord? Dan is asking. No, we don't, because Benzinga Pro, which is the platform that you see here on the screen that we use for news, scanning, idea generation. Guess what, Dan? It's got chat rooms built into it here. It's got more than one chat room built into it. And special shout out to the Happy Hour channel, where 13, my co-host here, is a moderator of said channel. So no, we do not have a Discord. We really encourage you to get involved with the Benzinga Pro ecosystem. Anne Marie, who's going to be coming up after our show here today, also has her own room where she's giving away options trades. So no Discord. Come see us on Pro. Talk to James Santangelo if you need a discount.
SGMO still moving. When I put on a daily chart and look to the left, I can see a couple of highs that I'd be watching for up, upside movement on the stock price. That's going to be from February 16th. We have a high of 148. So I think that's going to be one level. And then I look further left, we have July 18th. That high was 167. So those are the next two levels I'd be looking for with SGMO.
Carmen, love to see this. Take me to the river, drop me in the water. Let's go. Good memories there. Okay, you folks see that the little hi-ho, it's off to work we go, has now led into a Talking Heads discussion session. We won today, folks. We won today. Bivy, this came back to its VWAP and held it. This actually might be setting up for another potential scalp here. Ticker BIVI.
Yeah, Lion Atlas, silver has a lot of catching up to do with gold. That gold to silver ratio is pretty large, so it's been taking some time to get caught up. But good to see that we're actually finally getting that.
HYZN, possible curl here. Watch the volume. That stick's creeping up. This curl might get something here. Watch this level. Let's see. What level do we have? Let me zoom in here. Got to think it's the 285 level. It traded above it.
What level are we looking for?
285. The HYZN looks like it's curling. It's got range up to the VWAP at 325. 285 look to be the level that it needs to clear. Here we are back on it. Let's see if we can get the volume to expand. That first volume expansion candle, good. We get another one here. I think we might be off on HYZN.
HYZN getting support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Bang, bang, bang.
Then and recapture VWAP is is on deck here. I have that at 291, almost 292. So we'll see if we can get that. Looks like there's a big wall at just beneath $3. So if we do break over VWAP, it might run into some trouble there at $3. GNPX. This is, well, it's back to start with this one. It's back to where it opened. Hi ho. This one still trying to rebound off the 65 EMA on the 5-minute as well. MACD implies that there may be a little bit more downside coming with this one. Peloton, 65 EMA support, trying to get back up to VWAP. VWAP I have at 566.
Peloton. Actually, I haven't looked at that. Webcoin mentioning that Palantir is in launch mode. I'll tell you what, that has been, first of all, Peloton here doing what I don't want to see HYZN do, right? This started to curl, really kind of stopped and is rolling back over. Hopefully HYZN doesn't do the same thing there. Here is PLTR. Looks like it is ramping here today. All good. Give me 45 near December, and we're going to be really good on Anne Marie's butterfly there, which is we're still hanging on to. It thing pays every day. Every day.
Oh, there was another. Oh, yeah. Let me see what some of these other ones are doing. Because there was one I was thinking of when you'd mentioned Palantir, and I couldn't remember what it was, but no, it's not that one. Oh, it'll come back to me. But you reminded me of something I want to look at now. I can't remember what it was.
Well, one of my coworkers reminded me of something that I have to look at as well, unfortunately.
TCBP, more downside here. This one coming down to a potential support level at 250.
Oh, sorry, CHSN. I think Crow was trading this back when it got halted on October 4th or on October 7th. Looks like it was just resumed here today. Now it's halted to the upside. CHSN. I'm staying away from this. This is super risky. Be careful, but just calling it out here. Notice this got halted.
We are getting asked to look at SERV and BCTX. Let's take a look.
Okay, I can bring that up here. You want, which one are you doing first, 13?
I'm looking at SERV.
Okay, let me bring that up here for the visual aid. Actually handle this work thing real quick.
And the question was to 10-day high of 1059. I mean, let's see. I don't see that being. Hold on, let me see here. 1, 2. Okay, I see what you're saying. So that October 7th high, that's the highest we've been all month. You're looking for. I don't see 1059 as the high. I see 1076 as being the high. Oh, you're talking about October 8th, then I guess. That was. I
have 1049 as the high today.
No, I was talking about the high that we've had for the month, and that
gotcha.
Was and he was. I think he's referring to October 8th, which is 1059. That's where that high comes from. I think the higher one is 1076, which was the day before. But yes, it looks like it's actually getting ready to try and take that out. Just needs more volume than this, but I see what you're talking about, and my answer is I'm not sure. It could. But I need to see a bit more volume than this. Volume is not that bad, but I want to. If we could get it over 10 million shares in a daily session, that could be enough to push it up and over.
Interesting thing to note here, GM, which reported really good earnings today, popped initially, gave everything back, and actually went red. Now has ramped out of the gate. So peak to trough here, good 4 points on this GM move. That's good to see. Actually looked like those earnings. This was one of the things that was kind of had me thinking maybe we're going to be weak all day here today. Company reporting good earnings, giving the pop back. But GM ripping here out of the gate. No trade for me on this one, but good to see here. Somebody stuck.
You kind of have to wonder, does Ford show the same kind of performance? Because they report, I believe, later this week. Let me double check exactly when.
Here, we can do that with
it's next Monday. Next Monday, actually.
Okay, and actually Ford trading up along with GM, it looks like. HYZN not curling yet. We'll see if it gets above that. Here, that level that I flagged earlier, 287 looks to be the level. on HYZN. If it gets above that, watch out. Bivy here, right back at its VWAP. Maybe we cross and go higher. BIVI.
All right, and then I believe it was Carmen who wanted us to take a look at BCTX, thinking that they might be getting ready to go. And also, folks are shouting out Microsoft is ripping. If you want to look at that, while I take a look at BCTX.
Okay, here is BCTX. Let me bring up MSFT here. Is there news on Microsoft? This is a nice little staircase out of the gate.
With BCTX, I'll just go into technicals because I'm not sure what the fundamentals are, and they probably don't look great being a penny stock. We got a 50-day SMA bounce yesterday on the 21st, and now we're trying to recapture the 20-day SMA. I like that we've got this silver cross here at the beginning of the month, because we haven't had one of those since December of last year. So this could be this could be a robust curling here, and we could probably end up getting back up to the 200-day SMA at the very least. I have that at about 192. I don't know what if there's a catalyst coming up. Maybe you do, Carmen, but it looks like this is curling to get ready to go. The one big question mark that I have is this consolidation from May and June, and that's going to be between about 129 to 177. We get through that, I think we're hitting two.
Okay. Good stuff there. By the way, Microsoft had a PR here this morning about OpenAI announces 10 million AI collaborative and fellowship program. So that's probably what's driving Microsoft up about 1.5% here.
Lots of insider buys on Microsoft. That's different because usually we've been seeing a lot of insider selling in these Mag 7s.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that, because that's pretty interesting to me.
CHSN halted down after that. Look how thin this is. This just opened and rehalted. Folks, this is why I was saying be careful. I don't want to see anyone get hurt by a stock like this here today. That would really suck.
So there are no insider buying happening with Microsoft. These are grants. This is compensation. They're not buying.
That's not buying on the open market. Yeah.
No, they're not buying. That's just those are just grants. So they are having an increase in their position, but they're not buying it. And let's see, the catalyst this morning, good test results. Oh, okay. So wouldn't it be moving more? Oh, okay. Well, I guess it did move a little bit.
PHUN moving. I saw someone mention DJT earlier. I got to think that that's moving along with this as these move together. Yeah, those charts look very, very similar. So it looks like it just took to get about 2 weeks out from the election for DJT, excuse me, start getting really volatile. I don't think that ends here in the next 2 weeks.
All right. TCBP trying to get some support from that area I was mentioning earlier that we had consolidated into. So it looks like it's turning around, but until we recapture 290, I'd be careful with this. I think 290 we need to get start closing above that level for confirmation of a recovery here.
Yeah, really good stuff there, 13, because here, let me show you what happened here in HYZN. We were talking about this maybe curling and getting back to the VWAP. It never really got over that spot, and look what happened. Selling volume poured in, new low on that. That's exactly what we don't want to see here on TCBP too. So to your point about that, let's make sure we get over that maybe before we take the trade there. Otherwise, I would put a stop at that low there.
I think Hi-Ho wants to try and retest the VWAP. VWAP I have at 254, and we're pushing up there right now. We're trying to anyway.
Which one? Hi-Ho, off to work we go. Let's see if we can do that here. 254. See if we can close that gap. Let me check in on Sober real quick now.
SGMO looks like that one's trying to take out 145. ATNF losing VWAP. Peloton not sure what it wants to do next, but it looks like it's finding a base here. Needs to recapture some of these EMAs. VWAP I have at 564. HYZN, that's coming down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. GNPX is trying to get support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. If it loses that, Well, it might get some support just underneath 3, but if not, then I think somewhere around 250 might be where it ends up bottoming.
Yeah, my big worry here is that we're actually going to lose this and retest 3. 3 to me looks like the spot I'd try a bounce at here. You can see on GMPX, right when we lost that VWAP, we really were not strong enough to get back over that. So let's see if this comes back in and holds 3.
Yeah, I think I traded GNPX. Yeah, I just traded it once today, and I haven't touched it since. I don't know that I'd want to touch it.
Yeah, I touched it right. I did it right out of the gate. Got green on the screen. That's it. That's it. Wait that out there.
Yep, just got to be patient with that one. Just kind of watching, kind of waiting for Piton and Hi-Ho to do something. They look like they're getting ready. Not quite ready, but they're getting there. Let's see what is moving though.
GMPX going to 3 there. We'll see if it bounces here. Here's your 3 test on GMPX. ENSD, I know that's moving line. That's the penny stock. I'll get to that here in a sec.
Uh-oh. Fairchild warning us it's a trap. Edward L.A. mentioning ALLR. There it is.
It's a trap.
That's, I mean, look, that's just how it's going to be here today. That's one of my favorite drops of all time, by the way. Favorite drops of all time. Okay, GMPX, we're testing 3. There it goes. Broke through 3. Let's see if it reclaims that. Looks like it's being volatile right there. Bivy here, BIVI, it is above that VWAP. Let's see if it could take out that 312 to 315 area. We'll see.
Edward L.A., ALLR, looking good. For me, I haven't looked at the intraday chart, but on the daily chart, this is really trying to recapture its 20-day SMA. That's going to be the big signal for me that this could end up moving up higher. If we can get some closes, some daily closes over that 20-day SMA, this could be very, very good for more upside in the stock. So that's something that I'd be watching for with ALLR.
Boom.
Yep, Akbar. That's who would it be.
Boom. GM still holding higher here, but I'll tell you what, that was a good move there. Bivy is trying to get above that 315. Good morning, Beach Bum.
No problem, Edward.
You folks are out here rocking it yet again. You just absolutely love to see it from our group here. Love to see it.
Who was that had mentioned the big buyer at 550 on Peloton? I see that on my ladder here. That was a great mention.
Was that Amanda?
I don't recall who it was.
I don't either. I don't either. Mulling up 6% here, folks. Be careful.
We've been getting Hal mentioned several times here. We should probably take a look at Hal.
Yeah, it's on the it's on the scanner here. Here you go. Here is. Oops, I clicked on the wrong ticker. Here you go on Hal. It's right near the highs. Don't necessarily see a setup here.
Daily chart looking pretty good on this one. I mean, to me, it seems like this could end up somewhere between 385 and 410. Yeah, go ahead. I was kind of.
No, I was just saying. I was just kind of looking around here. Netflix looks like that was rolling over here. Let's check in on the SPY real quick. SPY looks like it's trying to bounce.
One thing I like
got some of these upper shadows here, really struggling to take out 581.5. See if SPY actually rolls over and goes lower here.
One of the things I like about Howell is we broke over that morning high from Monday, from yesterday, which was 328, and now we're trying to hold above that. The thing is that the RSI is pretty extended, so I think that we're going to probably see some cooling here in a little bit. Don't know if we're going to hold that high from yesterday, but I think that we aren't going to necessarily break down. I think we still may end up holding above 3, but this does need to cool off for a little bit, and then we can get another setup.
I'd like to see how it'll come back into that VWAP and hold.
I feel like SPY will go lower based off trends. Yeah, it might. Let me just bring up the chart here.
SPY, it's been tough for SPY to go lower. We take that if we got it for sure. Microsoft's still ripping at highs here.
Yeah, the dip buyers just keep on coming in. But here we are rebounding off that 580.33. So the next step to watch for is this pushing up into 583.45.
I clicked the wrong button and nixed the screen share. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Sorry about that. Here you go. Boom, boom, boom. We good.
Hyzon reversal. Well, it's trying to, but I'm not going to say that it is quite yet. We need to see some recapturing of some previous levels here. It's got to get back above 270, and we have VWAP right in that area around 280. So we're going to have to recapture both of those levels, in my opinion.
PHUN here looking like it's trying to set some of those new highs there at 1078. That's moving along with DJT. Got to think that the only catalyst here is the odds market just massively in favor with Trump, and that lead is growing by the hour here. So it looks like that's what's driving these two stocks. These are extended. I'd actually wait for a pullback on new entry.
CYCC getting some movement here on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
News. This is a breakout over the pre-market highs, which was like 189, 190. I think it's 190 that we'll look at. If we continue with this upside movement, we're going to go to 240.
Shannon, bang, ring that register, Shannon. Awesome stuff there. I think you're going to get more opportunities there in both of those names. Never a bad idea to take your profits while you have them. Really good stuff there. Really, really good stuff there. Here is CYCC. Okay, now we pulled back to that pre-market high 13. So, and I beg your pardon, did you want this at 180 for a potential reload?
See what? Oh, I didn't mention where I was reloading. I was just looking.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
sorry. I was looking at maybe 240 as a resistance level. That's next, but doesn't seem like we need to get there. This is already pulling. What are these?
Here we go. This would have to be a level for it to hold right here. We'll see if it does that. Fun through 11. Wow. This to me feels like a trim. I know Shannon, you're out on there on DJT, but if you're trading PHUN, nice little break there on good volume. That is a perfect area to sell into. No position for me on that stock, but a nice little upside break there. That's what we want to see.
GNPX trying to turn around and recapture that 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Bring that up here.
HYZN trying to get some support as well. Need to show more strength in this. I feel like these that VWAP's going to suppress this stock for a little bit if it tries to move back up there. So we need to see a recapture of that, and the volume right now isn't that great. So we need to see some volume expansion at HYZN.
Okay. GMPX, you're right about this. Let's see if this can get back to that VWAP, maybe build and get above. That actually would produce a pretty decent trade here. PDD. Whoa, is more China stimulus? PDD ramping here off the open. I didn't notice any of the other China stocks on the name here, on the list here.
I think this is in relation to the news from Amazon, because it's there's a headline that came out here. Amazon sets rock bottom pricing plans for new Temu rival store. So PDD owns Temu, so I think that is looking as more unfavorably towards Amazon, seeing as how they have to cut prices, so that's lowered margins. So it might. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, good. Hey, man, you're trying to draw a connection in real time. That's really good stuff there. Nice little launch by PDD here, though.
Both of them are kind of ripping right now, but yeah, that's what I think the movement is off of is their biggest competitor having to cut prices.
Okay.
Buy a birthday cake and ice fishing simultaneously. Let's take a look at this.
Which was Spy birthday cake and ice. It was Spy popping here, actually. Whoever was just talking about Spy calls, maybe he got filled there up a little bit. Nice little pop. I
mean, I see the wicks, but they're not like showing us that the Spy is about to go down. It's usually when you see the wicks on top being very long, and then usually results in a selling position. That's when you usually see a birthday cake. This isn't one, and I know it's just a BS made up name that we came up with over here, but this the wicks on the bottom here. That's more bullish. That's why we're getting this breakout. Means that every time that we tried to sell this, the buyers came right back in and snatched it up.
NVIDIA here right back to the highs, looking like this might try and take out yesterday's after hours high, set a new all-time high here on NVIDIA.
Oh,
This
I got
has been
you.
strong here today.
I got you what you mean by ice fishing. I like that. That's funny. I got that now. Yes, Mike, PDD is Temu. Yeah. Oh, Piton with a knife coming down into the pre-market lows. And what else is moving here? It looks like ATNF is trying to get back up to BWAP again. That CYCC, that's still trading above VWAP, but not liking those wicks. HYZN still trying to turn around. GNPX kind of going sideways. TCBP actually might break down here. We might lose this this 250 level pretty soon.
Peloton big time breakdown, total round trip off that Costco news.
Yep. Oh, Microsoft is having a really good morning. Was there a specific? Oh, they were just a collaborative.
SGMO, hey, good call here, Christoph. This was a nice move back to the VWAP. I'm a little bit late on this, unfortunately. Nice call there.
Looking for
Nice
a break
call
over
there.
145 on this one on SGMO. CYCC looking to get back over 190. And yeah, that's a good one. Replay. Get that mountain trail. ALXO setup. Let's see what we got here. So this one looks like it doesn't normally see a lot of action, but it seems as though we are squeezing here with ALXO. We have a 30% of the float shorted and 17.45 days to cover.
Looks thin too.
Yep. Float is 30 million shares. What's the balance sheet look like? Well, not bad, but they don't
Look at
have enough
fun.
cash.
PHUN, we still have expanding volume, new highs here. Wiss, hope you're killing this one. PHUN, big move here today. So far, so good on this one. DJT, on the other hand, pulled back to the VWAP, but didn't break down here. Let me bring that up here real quick. See if we get a VWAP test and a possible bounce here. Volume still elevated on DJT as well. Shannon, tell you what, you're selling into that buying strength. That was the move. You might even get another chance to be able to reload it. Really good trade there, group.
What's the movement with fun though? I mean, I see that they had news yesterday morning. I don't see anything today.
That stock often trades with DJT.
So is DJT is the one that actually had news then?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that this is because the poly market, which is the betting market for the outcome of the election, is at its widest it's been, and he's got momentum. So
they, keep in mind, Fun has a potential catalyst coming up later this month between October 28th, 30th, when they present at the LD Micro Main Event Investment Conference.
Shannon saying it'll pull back and I'll pick it back up. Shannon, you are a trader. Welcome. That is exactly. I mean, that is literally perfect. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Really good stuff there. Keep us posted on all that.
CYCC, that is breaking out and ripping.
Ooh. Oh, really good one. And actually, this already had multiple VWAP interactions. This would have been a really good setup to be on. And this was on the list. Tell you what, this was on the list, and I just kind of skipped over it.
Looks like it wants 240. That's where I would see some resistance.
Okay.
And what else is doing stuff? All those other names that we talked about this morning, just not really doing a whole lot. GNPX still kind of going sideways, wants to go high, move back up, but volume's awful. HYZN sideways as well. TCBP trying to decide if it wants to, break down or not. HiHo kind of just hanging out here beneath VWAP. Hasn't been able to capture it all morning. And Peloton looks like people are getting off that cycle.
That's not bad. Scanner littered with a bunch of different penny stocks here. ENSC, probably the strongest of the group. Yeah, this is back up here near the highs. We'll see if ENSC is done yet today. Volume tells me it's not, but some pretty good moves so far. ASPI, did someone mention this earlier as one of those thinner names? This also looks like it's trying to take out that high. ALLK. Someone mentioned ALLR earlier, right? Not ALLK. I might be mixing that up there.
Peloton actually getting some support from the pre-market low at 536. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see.
Oof, look at this.
Yeah. Okay. High hope pulling. ATNF. Not really doing much. SGMO, it really wants to take out that 145, but getting resistance. Here comes CYCC up to 240, almost there. Now, a lot of stuff today doesn't look like it has that continuing strength. Like as soon as they start to pull, man, they really pull.
And look at HYZN. This has looked like it's tried to bounce twice only to go lower. Nasty trading action there. Hopefully that didn't get anybody. CYCC looks like 250 next.
For me, I have 275 and then 3.
Amanda Rye, you like my Costco trade in Pro Chat? I'm all smiley now. I love when people are smiley. Yes, of course I like that. I didn't see the trade. I'll have to go back there and look at it. I'm still not completely caught up for my vacation. It's a me thing. It's not a you thing. But man,
jet lag thing.
It's not even jet lag. Although you know what, I was awfully tired on Sunday. I'll go back and take a look at that, Amanda. But that's awesome that you're smiley. It's awesome that you're in Costco. Costco higher here. Look at Oklo on the pullback. Order flow trader saying Oklo still, Ryan. Look, here's the thing. I don't know if this whole thing is over. I actually think this might be kind of a supply bounce area here on Oklo. Maybe if this holds 1850, that area in there, maybe we can move back up. No position for me in OKLO.
Yeah, I was kind of, fielding a question yesterday in our happy hour group. If these nuclear names being tied to the AIs, this whole AI theme that's been on a run for a while, do these nuclear names continue with the AI theme, or do they fizzle out before? I'm kind of looking at Jay Rice for his thoughts on that. But anybody else that has thoughts, I'd love to hear it. Just kind of wondering if they kind of are part of that theme now, or if they're still their own separate thing and they lose steam before the Bitcoin. I'm sorry, before the AI plays do.
Real quick here, Astus, ticker ASTS. This is actually at a possible breakout zone here. Watch 29. We could go higher here if this gets some more strength. Next spot I have up here above 30, almost looks like 31. Take a look at the daily chart. We can probably get a couple of these. Yeah, 30 and a half, and then maybe even 37. ASTS, do we launch here? Watch that 29 level.
Yeah, I think somebody was mentioning that Kramer hated ASTS, so naturally it's ripping.
Yeah. Oh, and real quick, Replay Game Lab. This is something that we've actually discussed on Happy Hour with regards to that, with regard to the whole nuclear theme here. How many municipalities are going to be fine with someone pulling up a semi-trailer of nuclear into their neighborhood? You're referring to nuclear waste, I'm assuming. We talked about this in Happy Hour. We called this the not in my backyard effect.
NIMBY.
What?
NIMBY.
Not in my backyard. Yes, NIMBY. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I got it. It took me a sec there. We talked about this as being part of that. This is a really good point, Replay Game Lab. I don't necessarily have the answer to that. Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind, though.
Yeah.
And then 13, to your point about this kind of being a long runway before some of these plants are online and all that, there's going to be back and forth with the NIMBY stuff, if you will.
Fairchild, it's a good point, and I think it's just going to be people's general ignorance about it. They think that because it's nuclear that they're susceptible to radiation poisoning if they're near it, and we know that's not the case. It'd have to be a meltdown of pretty substantial circumstance. But you're right. NIMBY is just a really big effect, and it because a lot of people know that something like that can really affect the home value, and of course, we probably could see stand to see some of these home prices come in, but not because we're building nuclear power plants near them. I don't think that's a good reason for them to come in.
Verizon, by the way, Verizon with a gap down here, pull to the 200-day and bounce. We're actually a point above that 200-day bounce area. Verizon, pretty strong action here today. If you are long-term holder, dividend players, might be an opportunity to add Verizon as it did trade down and hold that 200-day. Ticker VZ on that. SGMO, maybe that comes back to the VWAP and sets up for another move to the highs. CYCC off that big ramp there, pulling all the way back to the VWAP, actually going lower here. We'll see if CYCC can get rolling here again. BIVI still flirting with that 320 area. Actually looks like it got above the 321. We'll see if it goes here. BIVI.
Thinking GNPX. It's still at risk of losing 3 here. We need to get back above. Probably need to get back above 330.
PHUN, I shouldn't have even taken this off the screen here today. No pullbacks at all on PHUN as this continues to push to the highs. 1250 now, that spot.
Let's see if I can get a technical level here for fun. PHUN, by the way, not FUN.
I gotcha there. Right. PHUN sure looks like 13 coming here. DJT, by the way, so far bouncing off that VWAP on that pull.
Okay,
actually, good lord.
1289 looks like that could be a near-term high. We might get some pullback because the weekly 65 EMA is at 1288. So we might get some pullback here. It just touched it or got pretty close. But that's the next level to break over is 1288. That's 65 EMA on the weekly. Other than that, I think all the other EMAs are a little bit too higher up.
Bivy looks like this is BIVI. Looks like this is trying to go higher here. I'm not in this one, unfortunately. GMPX not really doing anything yet.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I kind of think that maybe fun 13 seems to be where it could end up topping out. There's a number of EMAs right in that area, so we'll see if that's what we get. But it seems like 13 might be the high.
Some of these other nuclear names here really moving to the downside. Here's SMR. Looks like NNE doing the same thing. We already took a look at OKLO earlier. Let's see if that's continuing its downside move. Indeed. Looks like this is actually trying to hold 18.5. We'll see if it does that. OKLO. ASTS, there we go. Just broke out from that 28.50 area, 29.50. Full dollar on that move here on ASTS. Who's watching this one? Didn't someone throw out an ASTS price target earlier? Did I miss that? If you're out there and you did that, remind me. That was a good one. ASTS continuing to move higher here. ALDX setup, says Tuna. Right at the VWAP. We'll see if this can move higher. ALDX. Is this spread, Tuna? No, this is a 2-3 cent spread here. Very tradable.
But very, very low volume.
Yeah, definitely a low volume name.
Yeah, current 5-minute candle has traded 328 shares. Just kind of cycling through these. Not sure we're getting any reversals quite yet in these names. GNPX.
Howell. Wow. Howell. Big. Sorry for interrupting, but I feel like this just happened. Push to the high here. HOWL.
I think I was looking at. Okay, so with Howell, thought I had something on that. Howell has the. Oh yeah, this was the one where I was saying that if we continue to move up, we're going to go hit the 200-day SMA, which is at 409. And I said there was also some resistance, possibly at 3.8, somewhere in the high 380s, maybe 388, 390. That's but that's where it looks like it wants to go. It's very extended. RSI over 82 now on Hal.
Lynn and Randy, are you folks still out there? Yes, I see Lynn. Actually, Lynn, really good mention. We'll stick to business here before I mention what I'm going to mention. You had mentioned Rumble here, kind of moving with DJT and fun. I agree with that. But also, folks, Frozen Frenzy tonight for all you hockey fans out there. All 32 teams play tonight, and there's going to be a lot of them on TV. ESPN does a really good job with that. So if you're a hockey fan, today's a good day for you this evening.
How's SPY looking? No.
SPY's bounce stopped at 582 and reversed.
Well, I mean, still it hasn't lost that 580.33 previous all-time high yet. It's kind of like that. We just need to see which direction we choose. We start breaking out or breaking down one way or the other, and that's the direction that's going. Somebody's in the happy hour chat's mentioning HD.
Home Depot, is that still pulling back from that hurricane trade? Indeed, it is.
Yeah, this thing's been very extended too.
Yeah, it sure has. We talked about that. And you know what? I also mentioned, Helene, excuse me, Milton, not nearly as bad as it was being hyped to be. And I think that is also playing a role. Low, ticker LOW, and Generac also pulling back from its highs there.
Yeah, and we could end up having a
PHUN pulling back. Watch to see if this goes to VWAP at 11. Sorry, 13.
No worries. We could end up having a lighter hurricane season next year as a result of La Nina. That's at least what the forecast is saying at the moment.
I don't think anyone would complain about that.
ATNF, this thing just had a pop. Doesn't look like it's sustained, but just had a pop.
It's a pretty low volume there.
Yeah, ALDX also moving over VWAP. GNPX going, this looks like it's going, going lower. Still think somewhere around 240 might be the support area for GNPX. HYZN, if we lose this 200 EMA, it's going down to somewhere between $2 and $2.10. Piton, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, HYZN has been not a good trade here today. This thing has continued to move down and has not really bounced at all either.
Haven't had a whole lot of really good movement in a lot of names. Fun has been one of the better ones. Some of these just random, pops like CYCC, and then it just comes right back in. Not a concentrate, not a big day here.
Yeah, WIS, I'm with WIS here. Watch HYZN in a couple of days. I don't think today is the day for that, WIS. I'm with you on this one, but that might pick back up. By the way, Wolf here, ticker WOLF. I think we feel like we traded WULF yesterday. Anyway, WOLF here popping on volume.
Yep. That one went almost to the pre-market low.
We got news here. Jana Partners said Wolfspeed can unlock value by separating devices unit. Okay.
Spinoff?
Maybe.
Yeah, Fairchild, that's right. La Nina year incoming. That could result in a more muted hurricane season, but the following year might be much worse.
Sober still on the lows here.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it didn't really do much. It's okay that you forgot about it, to be quite honest with you. SGMO still above its VWAP. We'll see if that sets up again. GMPX moving lower. PHUN didn't break down. Let's take a look at DJT while we're doing that here. DJT reclaimed its VWAP here, so we'll see if DJT actually still intraday here, not really above this downtrend. I know we're kind of just stabbing at things, but a little bit of a downtrend here. Decent that it's above the VWAP there, but we'll see here. It looks like comp's going short. DJT comp, let us know how that rolls.
Yeah, I had 3340 as a resistance area from a while ago.
Okay.
It looks like it went a little bit higher than that, but it turned around. So it could likely go lower, but I think maybe I want to see a breakdown beneath 3150. That would take us down to 30, I think.
Howell might be curling back towards those highs here. And that breakdown that you're asking for there, that'd be great, Shannon. This is why I was mentioning to Shannon earlier when she was selling those rips. Sell those rips, wait for the weakness to come back, and then reload and sell into the rips again. Really good stuff there. We'll see if we get it.
What do we think of how AI will affect crypto stocks? I think probably the same way that AI is already affecting, regular stocks.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of conjecture about this, to be quite honest with you. I think that there's definitely applications where AI can probably help, blockchain operations and things like that. But I don't know exactly what the effect will be on some of those crypto stocks. I would imagine it would have to be, what does that company do, right? And how can the AI actually help it?
Well, I mean, I was kind of taking that question as how are they going to, is it going to affect the trading? Like, is AI going to, how is AI going to trade these names? Like, how are algos going to trade these names? That's where my mind went when I first heard that. But
gotcha.
AI in these companies, I don't know what the AI angle would be. A lot of these companies that use blockchain, they use it for a number of reasons, not all of them related to AI. So I really don't know what the impact would be. I'd imagine it'd be an increase in productivity for the ones that do use it. DJT getting a lift here, by the way. But aside from that, I really am not sure how it's going to pan out quite yet. Ask me again another time when we have a better idea of what.
Ask me again sometimes. Yeah. 13's just out here quoting Return of the Jedi now.
No, I just I'm kind of taking the 8-ball approach.
Okay.
Let
me know if I need to break out the tried and true 8-ball later. Yeah, it's just ask again later. That's one of the better ones. GMPX here. I'm actually a bit surprised that this is this week early. I know we said that this was extremely extended and due for a pullback. Feels kind of orderly. I would have thought we'd have more of like a quicker downdraft here on GMPX. Might not be done. Watch for 250. Maybe it holds there and gives you a bounce before the final flush.
Looking for SGMO to break out of 145. It's looks like it's set up to do that and might be getting it here. Let's see what happens with SGMO.
Shannon telling us about XOM. There we go. Here's some bigger names. So these are going to be names in the oil market. Oil here actually up 1.25% here, up just about 90 cents. On crude. Take a look here at the daily chart here. XOM did kind of pull back to a former breakout level. I think if it holds it here, Shannon, you might actually have a reversal back to 125. We would expect the price to go higher here if we saw the price of oil go up too, no? I think you're probably thinking about it. Probably got a couple of things here that can help you.
All right, here we go. SGMO really starting to increase the volume. It looks like it wants to try to push over 145. It's going to take a lot of volume to do that, though. There's a huge amount of orders in the way to get through that level.
Okay, SGMO getting mentioned.
Yeah,
that was holding right above the VWAP, back up towards the highs here. What do you think, Tuna? You think you get a break there?
I mean, it's 145. That's what we got to get over, and it's got a lot of supply right in the way there between 145 and 155. So, going to need a huge amount of volume to get through this.
Yeah, Lion mentioning LEU here. This is one that we've talked about a lot. This kind of moving back down with some of the energy names here. This was extremely extended here at 104. I know this was a Jay Rice call from I believe a 30 or 40 handle. Just an absolute monster here. Definitely due for a pullback here. The same can be said for CCJ. Let's see where that is here today. Yeah, that's also pulling back. That run pretty significant as well. SGMO. I'm kind of wondering about this one. DJT continuing to march higher here.
Smoketon and I are on the same page with SGMO. This thing needs volume to get through that one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
You look at this ladder here with all these orders in the way for the next 10 cents. We got to see a bigger volume than this. Here we go. Now we're starting to get it. I just saw it show up on the time and sales. We started getting some huge orders.
There you go.
Watch SGMO. We might get going here. So a huge 19,000 share order placed.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so it's starting. It looks like it's starting to come in, or they're starting to pick up a little bit. But that was just one. We need to see more than that. There's well over 100,000 shares we've got to chew through here. See, there we go. Now we're starting to get some of those bigger chunks. All right. Tried to
CYC also mentioned there.
Just need to see that volume expand some more with SGMO. Cycling through some of the ones from this morning. Looks like GNPX trying to turn around. Still not convinced of a bottom yet. HYZN trying to recapture the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Very low volume. TCBP may be turning around. Hi-ho sideways.
Mitch is saying here, 13 to use Benzinga Pro for time and sales. No, Benzinga Pro does not have time and sales data. You would get that from your broker.
Yeah, I'm using my broker. Exactly.
Here is SGMO. That actually might come back to its VWAP. We'll see here. Hi-ho still holding, but it's not off to work anyway. Still holding beneath the VWAP there. GNPX maybe curling. Didn't quite get to that 250 there. It's not yet. SLXN, someone mentioned this earlier. It's a penny stock, a little bit thin. GUR, this continuing. But I'll tell you what, this thing has been a great mover recently.
Yep. Let's see here. Webcoin mentioning ULY. Edward LA asking about INDP. Let's see. Let's look at INDP. Critical supply agreement. So they have news today. No short interest. They had news and they sold off. I mean, it looks like it's trying to turn around. INDP. What do they do?
Didn't see that up. Well, let's just change there. Let me bring that up manually. Drug, by the way, looks like this is coming in. Nothing really going on there. Here is your INDP. Just look around and see what else people are on here today.
It looks like INDP has about a quarter, maybe two left worth of cash. Then they'll have to do a raise or find some kind of funding. All right, SGMO couldn't break that 145. Might be testing VWAP again soon.
Let me see if I can bring that up here for us.
This one had a price target of 12, but company doesn't make money. I guess for me with INDP, this would be something that if you're going to get a catalyst upcoming soon, that would be a reason to get into it, so you can get ahead of the catalyst. But aside from that, I don't know what the appeal is, and I think you're a little late to get into this now because the move is already in. Yeah, and I'd have to know more about this company to give you a better idea here, but I see that they had an offering in August. I don't know if that's if they executed that or not. I would need to do a lot more research into this, but hope that gives you some insight. I would just I would look and see when the next catalyst is coming up, because this company doesn't make money, so news catalysts are what's going to drive this thing up.
SGMO still flirting with this area here, 13. I tell you what, this is going to have either a pull or a break.
Yeah,
Place your bets.
Exactly.
Place your bets. GMPX, maybe if it reclaims 3, you might have something there.
Yeah, it's starting to come back up a little bit. I want to see it reclaim 315 and then VWAP. TCBP still trying to turn around here. Not convinced that we are reversing quite yet. Give it. I would, for me, I'd give this a little bit more time. INDP still trying to get over VWAP. It has been trying to get over VWAP for the past, gosh, if we don't count the breakout over it, it's been trying to get back above that for the past half hour. Yeah.
Alrighty. Less SGMO tug of war. Yeah, kind of boring right now, to be quite honest with you. Nothing happening yet. Big size at 140, by the way, in SGMO, so unsure if it can really move through that level.
Let me see here. Oh, yeah, we lost 140, and they just put a whole bunch of sellers in the way there. It's probably going to test VWAP. And here it goes.
I've got VWAP at 132.
Yeah, I'm at 133. Finally, something we're close on. Okay. Keeping an eye on fun, just for fun, in case it tries to start pushing back up again. Still above VWAP. Okay. Oklo order book working to move up. Boom ENSC. Don't even have that on my screen or my list.
SGMO back to VWAP, just like we said. ENSC, that penny stock, did it ramp again?
Yeah, I feel you, Shannon. This thing, it seems like this day is, kind of muted, kind of sleepy, which is strange considering all the earnings we had. But, the IRS unveils higher capital gains tax brackets for 2025.
I think that you're going to have, so we talked about this in happy hour yesterday too. I think we might have some of this low volume stuff just kind of going on through the election. Market really doesn't like uncertainty. And I think that's, really the big catalyst that needs to get out of the way here. Yeah. So I think it might be a little bit different when that's out of the way, but feel you guys. Take care of yourself, Anthony. Yeah. I understand. If you guys are leaving early today, I totally get it.
I mean,
it's all the time in front of a screen.
Well, it's not just that, but it's actually a very good thing if you're going to call it good here, because we're not getting really good setups, a lot of really good movement, good trades. A lot of things just look like they're working out, end up not. So it might be just better just to say forget it, we're done for today. Not like anything that's on my screen. I don't want to get trapped in anything that might look like it's going to produce a result. So that's great. Don't get yourself trapped in anything that's not looking good.
Don't overtrade. Yeah, don't overtrade and make yourself put yourself in a worse position. I beg your pardon.
I may go do housework today. So there's that.
I'm going to crush 5 miles and lift some more weights today.
See,
it'll be a good one.
See, folks, even Ryan doesn't say no to gains. It may not be stock market gains, but he's getting gains nonetheless.
Yeah, well, actually, it didn't do terrible today here. Still green on that GMPX move right out of the open. But I don't really have a whole lot here today. That's my issue. Yeah, that's my issue. I'm looking around here too. The trading group. Trading groups that I'm in. Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. I should not be yawning. My goodness, might be time for more coffee. That might be the takeaway here.
And let's see if fun can get going here. It looks like we might be starting to get a little bit more volatility at the moment, but MACD is suggesting that this isn't going to push up. So we'll see what happens. INDP still trying to get back above VWAP. DJT,
looking around at stuff.
This is coming back up, so we might get some movement out of fun as a result. Look at DJT. We're coming back up to that 3340 level. So if we get that movement in DJT, fun should follow.
That was a really nice bounce off the VWAP there.
Mm-hmm. QBTS still good. Yeah. Yes, it is. SGMO.
How's Lululemon doing? Lululemon higher here. Interesting. When do they report earnings? Unconfirmed for December. Okay, so ahead of Christmas there. And then we've got Tesla tomorrow after hours. How's Tesla doing here today? I'm surprised I didn't see a lot of Tesla comments here today. Wow, this is why. Tesla really is just some pinball action here. It's just some back and forth. Really tight range here on Tesla. Not what we normally see.
Oh, that's a trader's paradise.
I mean, these seem like small.
Well, I mean, yes.
Yeah, I suppose if you're good with that, but
look at this range that we've been in like all morning. So if you basically like are buying at 216.50, you are most likely selling at close to 217.50. You're making $1 every time this thing bounces, because that's kind of the range here that I see. That's what I mean. That's a trader's paradise. You have this consistent back and forth of $1.
Stock Moses agreed with you. Tesla's barcoding here. It's a scalper's paradise. Yeah. I guess 216.50 the buy area. So here we're coming back into it. Do we do this here? Is that SGMO, by the way, lost its VWAP there. Let's see if Tesla, maybe we can do something here. All right.
You can try it. Volume's not as good as it was before, so I don't know if we're going to get that to continue. But that seems to have been the trade lately. So if you want to give it a shot, go for it. SGMO breaking. Well, actually, it's in the process of losing VWAP. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. GNPX sideways. HYZN looks like it's trying to recapture the 200 EMA, but very slowly. TCBP sideways as well. Hi-ho. Looks like it's trying to move up. Peloton sideways. Sorry.
Really quickly here. I noticed I actually had it muted, but I had CNBC on another one of my screens here. Paul Tudor Jones was on CNBC earlier. Quote, all roads lead to inflation. I'm long gold. I'm long Bitcoin. So the gold part doesn't surprise me. The Bitcoin one from Paul Tudor Jones, I guess, does a little bit, but he's an ace here. Okay, Tesla here. Let's see if we come back into that 216.50 area. Maybe we can bounce there.
ALDX.
So comp, I'm probably, sorry, 13, one sec here. I'm probably dating myself, but man, when I was younger, I listened to Gangster's Paradise on repeat some days. I loved that song, man. Good nostalgic vibes right there.
I think Fantastic Voyage is my favorite Coolio song. Yeah, long BTC. I think there's been an argument that do you invest in gold or Bitcoin when you're trying to invest in inflation? I think that we kind of never settled that argument between the two groups. So buy both. We getting some turnaround on some of these names that were moving this morning.
I'm watching Tesla here. Because it does look like it might be trying to buy. It didn't come into 16.50, got no fill on that, but it does look like it might be trying to bounce here.
So I'll just go through some of these names that look like they might be.
Jay Wild, Amish Paradise. You know, I'll tell you what, Weird Al made me laugh. It's all about the Pentiums. Might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They call me the master of spreadsheets. I got them all laid out on my bed sheets. I mean, you just can't even. Just a laugh riot back then.
I would rather have the Weird Al birthday song sung than the one that everybody sings. It's so much better.
Here we go. Tesla
much
coming
better.
back into that 216.50. Let's see if we get there. 216.55 has a little bit of size there.
All right. Yeah, so here it comes down to
Hang on. So real quick, I've been saying gold, gold, gold. I'm tired of saying it. Well, here's the thing. Most of the time you misspell my name, so I don't see when you're saying that. Now, this one where you spelled it correctly, I saw it.
yeah, Ryan's like a computer. He reads script. So if it's not in the script, then you all right, here you go. You should have got filled there.
No, I don't have an order out. It's moving down here. Do we bounce here? I'm going to try some right here. Let's see if we bounce. Going to have a tight stop, though. 216.30. If we break it, I'll just reset and wait. Oh. Stayed in there. Did you see that? That was sweet. Coming right back into it. Let's see if we break. 216.29 is going to be the breakout spot there, or the stop out spot, excuse me. And out. Whoop. All righty. Well, that didn't work. We'll see here if Tesla can turn around. Still, there was actually just such a small thing. It didn't even really matter. These tight stops on Tesla. Maybe we'll try this.
You just needed to not be in it because it's turning around now.
Well, no. Let's see where it goes. I'm gonna watch this a little bit.
Maybe we hit that wick from the open where it dropped all the way down to.
That would be awesome. That's coming up here. I've got that. Let's see. I'm eyeballing this here, but I've got that at what, 216.07. So 216. Really, we're coming in here. Let's see if this range holds up here. A lot of OGs in the chat. Indeed, Mike. Indeed. How about that? AAR. Wild. Oh, you folks are the best. All right. Speaking of OGs, guess what I'm listening to right now?
Mariah
Time
Carey.
of the season. No, Mariah Carey. No, she's listening to Michael Jackson Thriller. It's almost Halloween. Mariah Carey taught you how to roust a bar. Come on now, Mariah Carey.
I agree that we shouldn't be listening to that yet, but I'm sure that all the holiday people might be listening to Mariah Carey much earlier than you think.
Fun fact, I actually enjoy holiday music, but I'm a Mannheim steamroller type guy, so you're not going to hear any Mariah Carey in my house.
I'm getting tired of Christmas music. The same songs every year. I'm tired of it.
Okay, so Tesla, let's see if we bounce right here. Going to try it again here. Yes, with the Mannheim. I'm telling you. Fairchild, at some point, I'll go see him live. I'll go see Chip Davis live and the rest of Mannheim Steamroller. But man, those albums in the house, that is just, you want to talk about feeling good vibes. Woo. Here we go. So Tesla's bouncing off the bottom of that range. Are we going to get something here?
That'd be cool. I agree, Crassy. When I go to Home Depot, that's not what I want to see out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Costco, my favorite store, a little pissed. They have 3 rows of Christmas decorations. 3. It's pre-Halloween. They've got 3 rows of Christmas decorations. Come on now. Yeah, Pentatonics and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You can't go wrong with Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
The most hated sector is lithium.
Guys, we're bouncing here on Tesla, so I actually am taking another trade here.
Take a look here.
Along 216.15 is my price here on Tesla. We'll see if we can get back to 217. 216.94 is your VWAP. I'd consider taking it there.
Oh, Lithium Americas is cheap enough to get excited about. Maybe it looks like it's trying to come back up. We had Silver Crossed earlier this month. Might be onto something here. Here's the other thing. The latest developments out of China have also been helping lift materials too.
Is it lifting Chinese stocks? How are we doing on those? Let me bring up PDD. By the way, so this trade so far is working. Whoever talked about the scalper's paradise, that little discussion we had going, thank you. In this trade, we'll see if we can get up to that VWAP. Here's PDD. So it looks like this is kind of holding its gains here. How's Baba doing? I just wanted to check in on some of these China, also holding here. I just wanted to check in on some of those Chinese names there, 13.
That was Stock Moses that said that.
Stock Moses, you know what, Stock Moses? Chewbacca approves of your doing here today. Well done. 216.50 now on Tesla. Higher we go.
INDP getting close to VWAP. It looks like it's trying to set up to move over it, but the volume is just so garbage. I don't know if we're going to get that movement or not.
GMPX back to 3 here. Good call, Tuna.
Nice. That MACD is curling, so that could imply that we see VWAP again on this one. I have that at about 241.
Order flow trader, do you that Halloween and Christmas are now combined, Ryan? Try that again, boss. I'm not sure what you're asking. If Halloween and Christmas are combined, that is a net negative for everybody, in my opinion.
You see Nightmare Before Christmas one time, and all of a sudden we're combining both of them.
That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
Yes. Now copper. That's super interesting line, Atlas. You still on? Is it FCX that you like for copper?
FCF Freeport McMoran.
Yeah. That the one, because they just had earnings yesterday.
How did they do
FCX?
I don't even know if I looked at that yet. FCX. There you go.
Top and bottom beats.
Okay. And this actually went to 50 and came back in. Might go higher here though. Right now though, just Tesla. Shout out Rob Smith. Rest in peace. Tesla here moving off that bottom.
Freeport,
pretty good.
Freeport McMoran. They are well positioned to benefit from fundamental copper outlook.
Folks, by the way, so we do have Anne-Marie coming up, but we also have an all access in between. So we're going to have Aaron Breeze going to jump on here and take over pretty soon. But we will be coming back for Anne-Marie today, and I'm going to be asking about Tesla, especially now that we're in this trade here. Tesla through 2650 right now. Come on, Ryan, wake up. 216.50, Tesla right through that to the north.
So it's doing good then.
It's doing well. I'll tell you what, the chat here, this trade, all sponsored by Live Trading's chat. Okay. It is all because we talked about this being barcoding action. We talked about the range. We had it flagged. Number of you were on it. We discussed it as a group here. That is the sole reason that I'm in this trade here. Stop moved up, so I can't possibly go against me at this point too. Good stuff there, team.
Nice. And you're lifting those stops?
Lifting those stops. Gotta make sure you manage the position here. And we appreciate that. Great show. You're great. And thanks for stopping by. We appreciate all of that.
INDP made that move over VWAP, and at the moment it's holding, but it's also putting in another one of those upper shadows that we don't like to see. So maybe INDP is trying to get back and stay over VWAP. I think we just need to give it a little bit more time to see if that's what we're getting here, but looking good so far. Some SGMO, that's breaking down, might get some support at 120, and if not there, I'd be looking at 113. GNPX trying to come back, and it's got to get back above this consolidation it was putting in intraday here, about 40 minutes ago or so, on its way to VWAP. So VWAP at 340. If we're going to get upside in GNPX, the things I want to see is I want to get that test of VWAP, maybe consolidate, but just beneath it before breaking out. That'd be good.
Tesla here, folks. We are almost at the exit. Didn't take this all that big, so I'm going to exit here at VWAP when we actually print it, unless it spikes above. This is a really good question, Robert. Ryan, when you raise your stops, how do you choose levels to avoid getting stopped out early? So, Robert, one of the reasons why I wait is because right around entry, a lot of the times there's some back and forth. So I feel like I can kind of control getting stopped out simply by waiting. If you take a look at Tesla here, once this really started to move, I didn't feel bad. And actually, my first stop that I put in there is at break even. Once the trade goes green, we're at VWAP here, by the way.
And if Tesla's too expensive to trade, you can also do TSLL. Those are the bull shares.
I'm out here. So that was another book trade here, 2 for 2. And this one, again, sponsored by Live Trading Chat. You absolutely love to see it. Robert, the first stop that I put on here is at break even, just to make sure if I look away or something happens here, I'm not going to lose, right? Once the stock keeps moving up, sometimes I'll move that up just in quarter increments or $0.50 increments, depending on how the stock is moving. In this case here, the first spot that we had was going to be right at entry. That was let me actually tell you exactly what that is here. 216.15 was the first stop there. 216.50 was that second one. That was when we really approached the VWAP, and then I just took it off there at the VWAP, 216.90 on that exit there. So there's all your numbers. And basically, there's no like system, if you will. I'm basically just kind of raising it just to make sure I don't give things back. I'd be open to maybe coming up with a system for that. It depends. If I'm going to stay in it for a little bit longer, I will pay attention to the support levels. But if it's a quick day trade like that, I'm just trying to protect the position.
Gary Frost saying that ENSZ is running.
Okay, we are expecting Aaron Bree here pretty soon. ENSZ?
I'm not seeing that come up. Is that a mistype? I don't see that as a ticker. Oh, there you go. There's that one, but I think he said Z instead of C, but looks like you got that right. If that's the one he's after.
Who's he? Oh, yeah, Gary. Yeah, that might have been a typo. But Gary, I got you. We were actually looking at this one earlier.
All right. What are these? Okay, so it looks like GNPX could not get through that consolidation that I was mentioning earlier from intraday session, and it has pulled. Now we're back down to the intraday, near the intraday lows.
Okay.
HYZN, still trying to recapture the earlier levels, but it's mostly sideways right now. Looking like it could try to push back up to at the very least VWAP, but the volume so low it might take a while for it to do that. TCBP making its way towards the intraday lows. Hi-Ho still getting a little bit of support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, but not looking great. Peloton might be curling here.
Whoa, really? Do we believe that one?
That's why I said might.
Yeah, I know.
Just getting distracted by what was here being said by Lion. Let's take a look at this giant. SA has huge gold deposit over 180 million ounces. Seabridge Gold.
Oklo, good mention. Travis, I know you were on this earlier about Oklo maybe kind of coming back. This did curl off that 1850. This is actually a pretty good range here, and we're actually above VWAP here. Now, Tesla, by the way, flirting with VWAP. Glad I took it off there.
Looking at, oh, wow. Okay, so Seabridge Gold, SA, over the past 3 days has been on a tear. Coming up to some previous resistance areas. Actually, this might be no, it's not. So previous resistance areas from 2020 to 2022. What's the thought here with this? That we break out over $23 and go just rip? I mean, it's on that way there, and with how gold is getting so much attention.
I got a special drop here that I'm gonna try and grab. So just give me a sec, 13.
All right. Looks like DJT tried to test 3340 again, got rejected. But if it keeps hammering that level, it could break through, and then we'll watch Fun Run.
Fun Run, there you go.
What is up,
there,
boys?
Hey, there's AB.
How we doing today?
We're doing really good, my man.
Yeah, that's a good trade, but man, it's very slow.
Is that Oklo in the red? Is the nuclear space finally giving up some of those gains?
Yes, it is. Sorry, AB, I'm going after a specialty golf drop here real quick, so just bear with me for a second.
Oh, good luck. All right, well, I'll take over for you, Ryan, and let you focus on more important things.
Lol.
We do have an in-person interview here at Benzinga HQ, our second one in a couple weeks. So exciting to be doing more of these in-person interviews. We're going to be speaking to an executive in the AI space. Have you guys heard about that? Artificial intelligence?
Explain that to me. What is
it does something.
people in the stock market they've been seeming to liking it. They seem to like it, when you look at some of these stocks in the space. So we decided to go out and get an executive from SoundHound AI. I'm excited to speak to COO Mike Zergasek. We've got him here in the office. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Mike on. All right, Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's great to be in Detroit here with you.
Of course. So you mentioned you're in Detroit. Where are you normally located?
SoundHound's based in the Bay Area, in Santa Clara, California.
There's a few tech companies there, right?
They're just a handful. Look left or right, you might hit one. But we're pretty global. We have offices internationally.
So what are you doing in Detroit?
This is the annual Reuters Automotive Conference that they host every year. So we have a presence here. We're doing some demos. We brought out a team. SoundHound is really big in automotive. We do voice AI in cars. It's part of our legacy. So we do more than that, but automotive is something we love and we're involved.
Yeah, why don't we back up for a second and just give us a brief overview of SoundHound AI? Because I think a lot of us in the trading space are familiar with the stock, the ticker. Of course, it's SOWN. But what do you guys actually do?
Yeah. So SoundHound, we are a voice and conversational AI company. We were founded in 2005. And our mission is pretty simple. We want to voice enable the world. We want people to be able to talk to products and services the way they do people. And we have a founding team, a technical team. We built our own voice AI platform well before it was even called voice AI. We launched it in 2015. And we voice enable cars. We've got great partnerships with the Stellantis Group, Hyundai, globally. Multiple languages. We've branched out beyond automotive into services. We voice enable restaurants, food ordering over the phone, drive-throughs, and we do enterprise conversational AI. So we can cover every part of the business. But why we're here in Detroit is we voice enable cars, and we also are very deep into generative AI. So we took our voice platform and used our proprietary software with things like ChatGPT to build essentially a next generation voice assistant. And that's what we're here to talk about.
So in terms of, we've heard a lot about artificial intelligence over the past couple of years. Kind of OpenAI's ChatGPT kind of reignited this hype around this cycle. And proponents of AI will say it's going to reshape every single industry. It looks like we're on the way to seeing that. Where do you see automotive like on the spectrum of industries that are ready to be shaped by AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we look at this, what's happening with these large language models, right? This generative AI, the conversational component of it, it really feels like one of those category platform shifts. And if you dial it back even to say mobile in 2008, or even like .com in the late 90s, you look at what distinguishes those periods from other innovations. And it's typically, it's two things. Companies that didn't exist before come into fruition because of the platform shift, or companies that embrace it end up accelerating their growth, right? So you can say that about .com. There were companies after it that are huge as a result. And same with mobile being more recent, kind of in the late 2000s, where you think about all the companies that exist today that didn't exist beforehand. And the type of acceleration and efficiency you get from this generative AI now and all the tools that are out there, we think is going to do the same thing. So as a company, you're either being born today, and we're seeing a lot of money flow into early stage companies, billions, and or you're a company that's embracing it. And automotive has been disrupted, I would say, pretty consistently as the vehicle becomes more software driven. As technology is taking center stage, automotive companies are rapidly pivoting to become more software centric, and their ability to harness AI, monetize it, develop new relationships with customers, they're all looking at it.
Beautiful. So I want to learn more about the voice app, like the voice AI, like what you guys are actually doing that with the vehicles. Like, am I gonna be able to get in my car and just ask it whatever? Like what is this technology going to look like in 1, 2, 3 years down the road?
Yeah. That's a great question. So in a vehicle, and we actually did some research, which I'll talk about it. But in general, the use case, first and foremost, what people want to do is when they use their in-vehicle voice assistant, they want to be able to do car-related things, right? Roll down the window, navigate, make a phone call. That just sort of has to work. And that's actually been around for almost a decade at this point.
Really?
Those basic functionalities. A lot of people also will plug in their phones and they'll use CarPlay or Android Auto. So I think one of the big challenges for automakers is how do they maintain the relationship with their drivers versus having the phone take over the infotainment, right? So that's a big existential challenge. So the ability to have a voice experience that is as good or better than what you can get on your mobile is really key. But now what you can do is you can have a much deeper conversation, right? You can do things like productivity. You can increasingly order food or plan a trip. You can anything that you can do, you can think of doing with the conversational agent like a Chat GPT or others, you can do with your voice. And we think voice is really the killer app for conversational AI, that you really unlock the power of something like ChatGPT or Llama or Claude or Anthropic, any of those with voice. And we've seen them innovate on top of that as well.
Got it. So it's basically, it's going to make your car, it's going to be a lot more than a car, essentially, once you have these AI capabilities built into it.
Exactly.
I mean, they're already becoming a lot more than, I mean, there's more technology put in a car every single year. What have been so far since, coming to Detroit this year, like other things you've seen so far? Is the conference just starting?
Conference is starting today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
it's a 2-day conference.
Got it. So you haven't seen too much yet there.
Yeah. Well, we hosted a workshop yesterday, sort of a day zero workshop. We had a cross section of automotive leaders. And what was amazing is I think historically new technologies were isolated to a particular department. But when you talk about AI and the data that you can get from it, it touches almost every organization. We had people from telematics to customer support to logistics, because if you think about in the car, there's a lot of data that cars generate now. So what do you do with that information? How do you optimize the driving experience? How do you engage with customers? So they're looking at it holistically. So it's very unique that we're focusing on the voice AI component of it, but the ability to analyze and make recommendations and engage with drivers more, it's a multi-department thing. So I'd say one of the themes is that it's really disrupting and engaging a lot more people than something that would be otherwise too narrow.
Are you able to give any more color insights into that partnership or contract with Stellantis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so one of the things that we did, because we've been a voice company for almost 20 years, when large language models became accessible, not just to consumers, but the APIs, and you could plug into them, we were the first to take that technology and incorporate it into our voice experience. And when we arbitrate, so one of the things is you can't ask a large language model like the weather or the latest news. It doesn't have that information, right? It's a static model. So we use our proprietary domains that we've always had, and then we added, in this case, ChatGPT, and it's seamless. And we arbitrate. So when you ask a question, navigate me to Comerica Park, then it'll navigate, and that's how we handle it. But if you say, well, tell me the history of the park, well, that's a great question for ChatGPT, and we will seamlessly route it there. So we're just really expanding that capability. And one of the things automakers are really, really keen on is monetization, right? Margins are getting tighter. How can they generate revenue in new ways? So they're talking about subscriptions to connected services. Voice AI is a great connected service, but also transactions. So if you say, well, actually, are there any tickets to any, Pistons games coming up, anything available? And when you're driving, you can say, yeah, there are some tickets. So I want to reserve them. If you can do that right there, that's a transaction. That's a monetization event.
Right.
So we think voice unlocks all of that.
I can't wait. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of like scared about the future with certain AI things, or especially with the cars and automated driving, but stuff like this, I mean, it sounds really exciting. I definitely can't wait to drive a car like that. So before I let you go, Mike, I do want to talk just about kind of the overall AI industry right now. Obviously, it's been the hottest story on Wall Street the past couple of years. You have your clear winners, the NVIDIAs, the AMDs. What right now do you think is setting apart like the winners in the space and kind of maybe the ones trying to catch up?
Yeah, it's a great question. When we look at it, there's really logically things gravitate to two ends of the spectrum, right? Just as you said, you've got the big tech players who have a lot of the resources and attention. Of course, NVIDIA is fueling all of that. AI is just data hungry. It needs processing, and NVIDIA is basically on the front lines of it. At the other end of the spectrum, you've got, as I mentioned, billions of dollars going into startups. Right now, the startup ecosystem is, if you have something that's large language model, generative AI based, people are paying attention. Obviously, some people are concerned that it's a bit overheated. We'll see. But then you've got organizations like ours who are applying the AI We have our own technology. We're using third-party technology, and we're productizing and bringing to market. And I think that's the space that people are increasingly leaning into. We have our followers. We've shown and demonstrated growth, and we are continuing to basically deliver on our mission. So we believe we're in a category of AI developers and practitioners who are targeting vertical markets that are really going to solve problems for them. And I would wager this is where hopefully we'll see a lot of growth with companies like ours.
Well, awesome, Mike. It's been great to have you on and discuss SoundHound as well as the AI industry as a whole. Again, trading on the NASDAQ under ticker SOUN. Mike, I hope you enjoy your stay in Detroit. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before I let you go?
No, I'm happy to be here. Beautiful fall weather, great space. Love Benzinga and appreciate you guys covering us.
Awesome, Mike. Well, again, we love having these in-person interviews. Glad we got to do another one today. I'm going to bring Ryan back on the screen here. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. Thank you, by the way. Really, really good timing. I ended up getting my head cover on that drop. Sent you a picture of it. Really sweet this time. So appreciate you, AB. Good interview.
Cool, man. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Ryan. We'll chat soon, and I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Sounds good. AB, really good interview. He leaves a spot open for the one and only Anne-Marie. Let's go ahead and bring on Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, how are you doing here today?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It is great to see you again. Hopefully you had a great weekend.
I did. It was nice. It was nice.
Okay. Awesome. Now I have one. I know we have a little bit of a truncated show here today,
no problem.
but I've got one idea that I would really like to start with. Did you have a screen shared for the?
I do. Let me give it to you. And,
all right. We've got Tesla earnings tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe a Tesla trade here. I know those options are liquid. I know they're popular. Maybe we should take a look at that.
Absolutely. And wouldn't you know it? That's where my screen is.
Hey, it's almost as if we kind of figured that one out. Okay. Awesome stuff, Anne-Marie. What do you got for us here today?
All right. So let's take a quick look at the chart first and see what's happening. So we've got a weekly chart and we can see that it's been range bound. Look at how many earnings this thing has been sitting in this range for. I'm only going to count this one. This was a drop off. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 earnings events in this range. So to me, it says that either Tesla has to come with something otherworldly on the horizon, or other terribly on the horizon, or we are going to have ourselves a sideways event. And so a couple of ways you can trade the sideways event. I don't see any big, take a look at what's happening with the ATR.
Mm-hmm.
It's been dropping off a bit. It's really low. It's really, really low. And so to me, the options are going to be juiced, right? Meaning they're going to make money on how much they're charging for premium. And I don't know why this is not lifting for me. It's just bizarre. But anyways.
Sounds like if they're going to be making money off inflated premiums, we're going to be selling premiums.
Exactly.
Boom.
Exactly. So a couple of things we can do. Now, let's say that there's a gigantic outsized move. Market makers are pricing in $12. And if we take a look at, notice the 25th of October, the implied vol is 90, and it literally drops by 30% by the end of the November cycle. And so if we're looking up here, there are premiums that we can sell, but if we get into a triage space, things are going to have to roll. So the first thing I would say is that if they're pricing in $12 here on the move, and we look across here, this is $7.90, so that's almost $8. And this is $6.85, so that's almost $7. So they're pricing in $15, but the market makers are only saying 12. So if we take a look at 12 and we go, okay, what's $12 below? That's 200. The volume point of control is below it at 180. So there's more of a shift in that general direction towards the 180. Or if we add $12, it's 230. But 240 is the next high volume node, 245. And the value area high is up at 270. So if, for happenstance, you wanted to say to yourself, I'm taking the trade that this is going to be outsized and it's going to really move, we're going to go long a strangle, but only because we believe that the market makers have mispriced the position. Even though I say, hey, listen, it's juiced. This is a $45 position, 252 on the upside, 180 on the downside. It could literally be worth 12 cents if the chart does nothing. Okay, simply because there's so much vol. If you wanted to move that into the forward week, time premium takes over and it becomes $1.38. So if you're in a gambling mood and you're feeling like, for 8 earnings events, these guys literally have stayed in the pocket. What if they don't this time? What if they juice it and it moves dramatically in one direction or another? I picked the 252 because 250 is a big fat round number and it's near the high volume node.
Gotcha.
And I picked the 180 because that's the volume point of control. And so if you're inclined to wiggle those around, maybe instead of 252, you want to say 250, you're going to pay a couple more pennies, but not a lot more, $6 more. And you get really potentially quite a bit more if it comes into 250 and accelerates. Maybe it expires during the week at 252, and all of a sudden that 50-cent option is now worth $250. So potential for upside, but this is essentially what I'm looking at if you're in a gambling mood. Now, if you're not, and you're saying to yourself, this thing is going to sit exactly where it's been sitting for the next month and a half or so, and so I'm going to sell an iron condor. We've got an iron condor right here, 270 to 275, 170 to 165. Now, I have that a little bit on the lower edge simply because it's all the way out in December. But 180 is really what the price action says it's likely to hold. So if we say 180 to 175, we get ourselves a little bit more premium, but it allows us an opportunity to capitalize on things if nothing happens, right? And so this one's out in December. My thought is when you sell an iron condor, try to cover it at 50% profit. If you try to hang on for more, things can get a little weird. But if this Tesla chart stays spongy like it's been staying for the last couple of years, it really is going to sit in the squishy zone and not move. The next opportunity is if you think to yourself, well, Let me get a butterfly going in here. This I want to shift down. I'm going to leave that at the 255. Whoops, 265.
Yep.
And then 275. Yep. 34 cents. 180 is the same place. What's the goal? It's the exact same as the strangle, only it gives us a lot more time just in case the price runs. It gives us 15, 20 more days of motion, and it allows us to get in at, playing both sides of the fence, just, a little bit more than the other one, right? Well, I want to say a little bit more. It's really going to be, you're going to be spending 50% more than just the strangle, but your probabilities are going to be more likely if the price action expands. So we've got all frameworks here, and legitimately, because I have some in December, some on November 25th, October 25th, and some on November 15th, you could literally take all of them, and any or all of them could work out, right? You might be able to collect premium to pay for half of the move, and then, you've got yourself a gravy train if the chart continues to run. My suspicion is that it won't. But if it does, you've got yourself an avenue for motion.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, one thing here, because I don't know that we've ever had a trade setup like this where we've put on multiple at the same time with varying time frames like that. Is one of the reasons we're able to do that because Tesla is such a liquid option chain that we're going to have no trouble getting in and out of these positions?
That's a very good reason that you can know that you'll get filled on these. But the next thing is, here we're planning for no move. That's the Iron Condor. We're planning for big move right away. That's the 25th
October weeklies, yeah.
And then we're planning for the gradual move if it does happen. So really, we're thinking about what could happen, and every single opportunity is available there. The question then becomes, for the 25th, let's say it moves and it goes all the way to 270, and then it backs down. You can win on the 25th of October, but if it backs down, you've also got December, because it's going to fall right off the rails coming back down off of 270. Same sort of thing going on if it goes all the way into 180, 170, and then begins to bounce where the floor is. We can see where that floor is sitting right there at the 180 marker. Let's say it fades during the fast option cycle, right? Let's say they come out and it just looks horrible, right? And it collapses all the way down there. These things are going to explode in value. And then after it begins to bounce, you've got your Iron Condor. So you might want to pace it. You might want to go, since this is in December and the vol is not going to collapse very much, you could go, you know what? I'm going to start with this 53-cent strangle. And then if it gives me nothing, right? Because this is an all or none. Remember, that one's a lottery ticket. So you don't want to go buy however many of them, right? You just want to be chill with that. If it moves dramatically, you're in awesome shape. If it doesn't, it erodes to zero almost immediately. So there's a lot of risk sitting on that one if it does nothing. But if after it does nothing, you can still add the December contract, Iron Condor, and then, you wouldn't even have these butterflies in play. because you can already tell there's nothing that's going to happen. So if I were to say, hey, what are the best options? It would be, listen, you take the strangle, right? You can, at that 53 cents, you take the strangle, or you can wait until after earnings and take the iron condor.
Okay. That was really, really good. So that was perfect. That actually filled up the time here. That is timely. Anne-Marie, thanks so much. Really quickly, as a two quick programming notes here.
Yes.
No show there on Friday, right? You're going to be out of pocket. So we're going to have you back next week before Halloween.
Yes.
We'll come up with some type of spooky
Absolutely.
trade for you.
You'll find the spooky. I know it'll be there.
Okay. Okay. Real good. And Anne-Marie, just letting the audience know, when we're done here, I'm going to redirect you to a stream that we did an interview with Rebecca Kakaba. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Co-founder and CEO of Dealmaker at Hood Summit last week. We sit down with Rebecca to discuss how the platform is transforming the way investors access private market opportunities. And we discover how Dealmaker is empowering everyday investors. Anne-Marie, can't thank you enough. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Take care. And folks, like I mentioned, I am going to be sending you over to that stream right now. Thanks for all your support. Smash up the like. We'll see you tomorrow.